The Unimaginable Love, a little girl and a strange dog. Once upon a time, in a small town nestled between rolling hills, there lived a little girl named Lily. She was kind-hearted and curious, with a wild imagination that often led her to dream of faraway lands and magical creatures. But there was one thing that made Lily's life different from other children. She didn't have many friends. Lily's best companion was her grandmother, who lived in a cozy house by the edge of the forest. They spent many afternoons baking cookies and telling stories by the fire. But despite their closeness, Lily often felt a little lonely. Her heart longed for a true friend, someone who would understand her, someone who could share her adventures. One rainy evening, as Lily walked through the woods near her grandmother's house, something unexpected happened. She stumbled upon a small, scruffy dog with a shaggy coat, wet from the downpour. The dog had the saddest eyes Lily had ever seen. He was neither wild nor tame, but he didn't run away when she approached him. Instead, he looked up at her, as if searching for something, maybe for someone to care. Without thinking, Lily bent down and gently reached out her hand. The dog, cautious at first, sniffed her fingers and then nuzzled her palm. It was as if a silent understanding passed between them. She smiled, feeling an instant connection. "What's your name?" she whispered, though she knew the dog couldn't answer. From that moment on, the strange dog, whom she named Dusty, became her constant companion. Every day, after school, Lily would run into the forest, where Dusty would wait for her, his tail wagging like it had been waiting forever. They would explore the woods together, playing hide and seek among the trees, and sitting quietly by the river, watching the world pass by. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the bond between Lily and Dusty grew stronger. She no longer felt lonely. Dusty was always there, by her side through thick and thin, offering his silent, comforting presence. No one understood the depth of their connection, not even her grandmother. To others, Dusty might have seemed like an ordinary stray dog, but to Lily, he was far more than that. He was her protector, her confidant, and her best friend. One cold winter evening, as Lily walked home from the forest, she noticed that Dusty wasn't following her. Her heart skipped a beat. She called out for him, but there was no answer. She searched the woods until the stars twinkled above, her breath coming out in heavy clouds, but there was no sign of him. In the days that followed, Lily felt a deep emptiness in her heart. She missed Dusty's warmth and the comfort of his presence. It was as if the light had gone out of her world. Just when she thought she couldn't bear the sadness any longer, she heard a familiar sound, a soft, gentle bark from behind her. Turning around, Lily gasped. There was Dusty, standing at the edge of the forest, his coat glowing in the moonlight. He had returned. From that day on, Lily realized something she hadn't fully understood before. Sometimes love isn't about being together every moment, but about knowing that, no matter what, you'll always find your way back to each other. Dusty wasn't just a dog. He was a friend who had come into her life in the most unimaginable way, and he would always be there when she needed him most. But just as Lily thought she had discovered all the mysteries of the forest and the true meaning of friendship, something strange began to happen. Every night, as she and Dusty would sit under the stars, she noticed that the dog would often gaze toward the farthest edge of the woods, as though he were waiting for something or someone. One evening, as the wind whispered through the trees, Dusty stood up, ears alert, his eyes fixated on the shadowy path leading deeper into the forest. Without a word, he started walking toward it, and Lily, unable to resist, followed him. The moonlight cast eerie shadows on the ground as they ventured farther into the woods than they had ever gone before. It was then that Lily began to wonder, what if Dusty wasn't just a stray dog? What if he had come into her life for a reason? And what was waiting for them in the heart of the forest? As they walked deeper into the unknown, the air seemed to hum with a strange energy, and Lily felt both excited and a little nervous. She clutched Dusty's fur, her loyal friend guiding her through the mysteries that lay ahead. The deeper they walked into the forest, the more Lily felt a sense of wonder and unease mixed together. The trees seemed taller here, their branches twisting into shapes that almost looked like ancient faces, watching over them. Dusty, who had been so playful and carefree before, now walked with a sense of purpose, as though he knew exactly where he was going. His steps were steady, and his eyes never left the path ahead. Lily's curiosity grew stronger with every step. "Where are we going, Dusty?" she whispered, but the dog didn't answer, as usual. He never did. As the night grew darker, Lily could barely make out the path in front of them. But then, out of the corner of her eye, something shimmered in the distance, a soft, glowing light. It was faint at first, like the flicker of a distant star, but as they drew closer, the light grew brighter. When they reached the source of the glow, Lily gasped. In front of them stood an enormous tree, its bark shimmering silver in the moonlight, and its leaves sparkling like tiny stars. Beneath it was a small stone archway, carved with symbols that seemed to pulse with energy. Dusty stopped in front of it, his tail wagging slowly, and then he turned to face Lily, as if inviting her to step through. Lily's heart raced. She had never seen anything like this before. It felt magical, like the forest was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. She stepped forward, her hand brushing against the smooth stones of the archway. "Is this where you've been leading me all this time?" she asked softly, her voice barely a whisper. Dusty barked once, as if to say yes. Without hesitation, Lily stepped through the archway, and the moment she did, a wave of warmth washed over her. The world around her seemed to shift. The forest faded, replaced by a glowing meadow filled with vibrant flowers that moved in sync with the breeze. It was as if she had stepped into another world entirely, a place where magic was alive in every leaf and every gust of wind. At the center of the meadow stood a figure, cloaked in light. As it stepped forward, Lily recognized the figure's eyes, a pair of ancient, knowing eyes that were just like Dusty's. "Welcome, Lily," the figure said in a voice that sounded like 1,000 whispers. "You have found the heart of the forest." Lily's heart raced with excitement and fear. "What is this place? And who are you?" The figure smiled gently. "I am the guardian of the forest, and this is where all the magic begins. Dusty, your companion, is no ordinary dog. He has been sent to guide you, for you are meant for something greater than you can imagine." Dusty stepped forward, sitting beside Lily as the guardian spoke. "You, Lily, are a keeper of magic. Your bond with Dusty was no accident. You have the ability to protect this world, a world that is hidden from most, yet more real than you know. The heart of the forest is a place of balance, and you, with Dusty by your side, are destined to protect it." Lily blinked in disbelief. She had always felt different, but she never could have imagined something like this. "What do I need to do?" she asked, her voice trembling but full of determination. The guardian's eyes twinkled. "You will learn. The journey ahead will test you, but remember, you are never alone. Dusty will always be with you, guiding you." With that, the meadow around them began to glow even brighter, and Lily felt something stir deep within her, a new power awakening. Dusty looked up at her, his eyes full of understanding. The adventure had only just begun.